Hi, I'm Corrine Maury. As you probably noticed, your tax notices for your property taxes have been coming out in the mail, and some of you are finding that it's a little hard to swallow. There are two components that contribute to your taxation. The first is we know that the taxation is determined by the local government, RDCK, and your municipalities. And many of us have been working quite a bit over the last few months to attend budget meetings and to hold our local government to account. And we actually were able to get the taxation rate down 5% from what it was proposed to be. The second component, which most people don't think about, is the actual valuation of your property. Now, what you will have noticed is in January, you get a statement from the BC Assessment Authority that is telling you what the value of your property is. Now, they are just using comparables in the neighborhood because you probably noticed that nobody has been through your property to actually determine what kind of condition it's actually in. So the process is that the public is supposed to be able to obtain a fair appeal process in case your valuation is off. And so for the last 3 years, I have actually accessed this process. So once you get your notice in January, there's instructions on the form as to how you can submit a request to have an appeal. You will be then required to have a teleconference with 3 members of the public that are appointed by the government to hear your submission. You get 7 minutes to defend your position, and the BC Assessment Authority will also be on that call, and they get 7 minutes as well. In order to make sure that you have the best chance, you need to submit evidence to justify your position. And the evidence that you're required to submit are market sales. So the real estate sales of comparable properties within the year that you're appealing. Now, the public does not have access to that unless you have an insider that happens to work for the real estate agency. The BC Assessment Authority has access to all those tools, all the market sales, all the comparables. And so right off the bat, the weight is in favor of the BC Assessment Authority because the public is not given access to the information that's required to defend your position. Once you go through that process, in all 3 years, my complaint was denied. And one of those years, my property went up 70% in 1 year. My request for evaluation was denied, and so then you can go to the next step, which is you can escalate your appeal to the provincial level. Now, you're going to go through the same process again where you have to submit your evidence. There is another teleconference that is scheduled for you in May or June where somebody tries to negotiate on behalf of an agreement between you and the assessment authority. And if that's denied, then you have to submit more written materials to the provincial level, which I did. And in my case, I actually submitted a formal appraisal that cost me $1,500, but I wanted a baseline so that everybody knew what my property was worth. It takes until November before they can actually get through that process. And in my case, they wouldn't accept my formal appraisal. What I have discovered is that the government is moving into a position where it is requiring mounting evidence and calculations from the public that they don't have the tools for. And the assessment authority continues to provide all these ratios and calculations, and so the decision is always made in favor of the assessment authority. As some of you know, I am going to be running as the Provincial MLA in this upcoming fall election. And I just want you to know that one of the first things that I'm going to do is to hire a consultant in the January season to help the public actually create adequate evidence to appeal your property evaluation. And then we are going to monitor all of the decisions that come down from the assessment authority, because there is no way to know what's really going on in that office if we don't tabulate and keep track of the decisions that are coming through. And then if we have enough evidence, then we can actually do an investigation into how the assessment authority is coming up with the calculations that they're using to drive the value of your home and how much taxation you have to pay. So this is my contribution to the community. I will fight on this just because I've had so much personal experience with it, and I just see that they are not even close to following what the rules of the game are. So here's your little education piece, and hopefully it's useful to you.